Hello, everyone. Welcome to our masterclass. We are excited for this topic today. Let me make sure our screen's set up correctly here. We're just going to wait for a few people to get on. 1 minute here, so hang tight with us. What are we wondering about today?
So we have another master class going on today. It's probably our, what do you think, maybe
Your
our
favorite one? Oh, I thought you were gonna say favorite.
Our favorite master class ever.
It's like our 10th.
Our 10th?
Yeah,
Maybe.
we've been doing them all year. We're excited. If
Yeah.
anyone has any ideas of what else they want us to talk about, we're excited about this topic today. But just always message us. Let us know.
Mm-hmm.
What you
And
want
if
us to talk about,
you're hopping on and you've used any of the services that we do talk about, let us know your experiences, because we always love input from experiences, and we'll go over some of our experiences with this software because we're really excited to talk about it. So I'm just gonna pull up our Facebook real fast.
Yeah, let's dive in, and then as people join, they can join the discussion. As always, feel free to pipe in at any moment. So we have Daniel Dixon with us here today. We're super excited to talk with him. He is the CEO of Service Moxie, which has some amazing services and softwares. But the one today I'm really excited to talk about, we haven't talked to him about it before with our people here. So we're excited for this topic because it's so important. Solving the biggest problem in your business, which whenever we ask people what it is, 9 times out of 10, they always say employees. There's so many different problems to have with employees, getting employees, keeping them, getting them to work hard, keeping them motivated, keeping them representing you well, and working your business as you want it to be worked. And so we are excited to talk to Daniel about this today. I mean, just to jump into it, Daniel, how did you even get started? I mean, trying to solve some problems with this.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. And to your point, like in the process of developing Syngem, which you guys probably have heard of, or if you haven't, it's a sales and marketing software. It's our first software platform. And we had the privilege of talking to, over 1,000 small businesses. And like you said, Michelle, like 9 times out of 10, they would say, oh, this is awesome, but like my biggest problem is employees. And so we were like, man, maybe we jumped into the wrong product here. But yeah, we just kept hearing employees. And if you could, teach us how to do this, or if there was something that did this for me, this would be awesome. And so we said, we've got to figure out a way to do this. And so it was a collaboration. Once we had the idea, we pulled together, I think, like 50 business owners, and we designed the software for them. So we said, hey, what would you guys want? We got all the features, we designed it and tested it with them, and this is what we came up with. And I just am so excited to teach about, even if you're not interested in adding a software to your business, I want to teach about, what it is we've learned over this process, and hopefully it's valuable to your business.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely a need. HR, or Nicole does our HR here at Jill, so knows this topic well herself too. So we're excited to join this discussion today. So dive right in, Daniel. Let's get talking about it.
Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to share some slides. Let's see. Let me know if we're still good here. Are we all good?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay, perfect. So solving the biggest problem in your business, like they mentioned, and today I'm going to show you 3 secrets to attracting and retaining the best employees you've ever had. And I know that's a really big promise, but I'm going to do my best to deliver on that. And like I said, if you're not interested in the software, that's totally cool, but stay, because I think that there's at least 1 or 2 really good nuggets in here that you can take and hopefully apply to your business. So let's see here. We'll start with Josh Latimer. Josh was our founder. And I like telling his story just because, like, a lot of people that are business owners, like I shouldn't say a lot, probably every business owner's had that part in their career where it's just like, or there's days where you're just like, should I even be doing this anymore? Like, this is crazy. It's not worth it. Josh wasn't like born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He started in a trailer park delivering pizza, married his high school sweetheart. They have 5 kids. And like, he has a chaotic life. Even to this day, he has a chaotic life, even though he's really successful. But he started, where a lot of you started. And, here's even a picture of him starting out. Like, this is him leaving the trailer park, driving his 93 Chevy Cavalier, which he affectionately calls his first work truck. And I just love it. He's got this 30-foot ladder strapped to the roof. It's so cool. And he struggled immensely. Yeah, like when he first started, he struggled immensely. If you've listened to his podcast, it's amazing. And he talks about like when he first struggled and, he went to a job one of his first years and like this old lady like kicked him out of his house or out of her house saying like, you don't know what you're doing. And he just was like, man, he has some really dark stories and times. But he discovered systems and he was able to triple his business the year that he did that. And you can see these are actual numbers from his company. So the year one, he did 24,000. A lot of you would probably be like, yeah, that's nothing. Well, if you have the right information, that's nothing. But like when you have nothing and you don't know anything, like to go from 24 to 56,000, like that's a big deal. And like that meant a lot for his family. But to go from 56 to 180, like it was like he was on top of the world. And then year four is like off the chart. And he doesn't even really share the number with year four because it was so high up there. And he doesn't want everyone to think like that's how they should be in year four, but it just shows you like how valuable systems can be. And really like his effort stayed the same through all of this. So like in year one, he wasn't working any less hard than he was in year 3 or 4. He just figured out, hey, I need systems and I need like to do things the right way and I need to educate myself. And so he learned all of this stuff and, growth is great, but all of you have grown your businesses and you've experienced problems, right? And growth exposes those. And I'm sure at Jill's office, they could tell you like, it's easy to manage one Jill. Like when Brant probably started on the phone or with one Jill and he's like, yeah, this is easy. And then when it gets to 3, like it's a little bit more difficult. It's like juggling, right? Like every time you add a ball, it gets infinitely more complex. And then once you get that one down and you get in a rhythm, it's fine. But as you grow, it becomes more and more difficult. And so like, as Josh grew, he had to add more staff, right? To deliver on the work he was selling. And that means he had to manage more people. And like all of this just kind of like blew up. Like the bigger it got, like the more crazy and the more things he was juggling. And it just like was this bomb.
Well, Daniel, one thing I think that is interesting is I feel like when someone starts a business, depending on the business that it is, they're, especially like in the service industry or even in a lot of others, you don't go into the business thinking, I'm going to have to deal with employee problems. You go into the business thinking, okay, I'm probably going to have to, I'm going to have to figure out a solution for this with my product or my service, a solution for this. But it's almost like the employee things just come as a slap in the face and a huge slap in the face because the majority of the time you're not thinking that's going to be my biggest problem. I'm going to be stressing about
right.
Day in, day out as employees. But then everyone runs into that. It's just this interesting thing that you don't know. Right. That's what you're going to need solutions to when you start a business, but it becomes one of the biggest, I don't know, thorns on your side.
Yeah, once people figure out like the sales thing, like that's what they initially focus on. Cause like, how do I get my first job and how do I feed myself? And then it quickly becomes like the growth limiter is like, well, I figured out how to sell, but like, I can't deliver the work. And so that's what we find is like, there's generally, this is the second problem, right? And the big one. And so he found out he needed to attract, retain, and manage employees in a better way. And I'm going to share 3 of the secrets with you that, Josh has learned over time. So secret 1 is understand that the key to growing is creating systems, including employee systems. And again, like we talk about, people focus on their sales systems, right? You probably have like a way that you answer the phone. You have a sales pitch. You maybe have like an email follow-up or like you do things a certain way, but like I would say probably most of you listening to this don't have an employee system. Like if I said, hey, what's your employee system? Like, what is that?
Nobody talks about that. It's true. Right. I mean, there's no classes on that. Yeah.
Right. And
except for this one. That's why it's good you're here today.
Yeah. So like no one focuses on employee systems and that's okay. Like it's like something we all have to work on and it's a constant thing, but like that's a secret. Like you've got to have an employee system and just knowing that will enlighten you to like, and open your eyes to things that we've got to do. So there was this aha moment. Josh read this book called The E-Myth, and the E-Myth is all about concepts and like systems without tactics. So it teaches you how to think differently, and it shows you like the importance of having systems in your business. And there's like, you know, 3 different people types. There's the, you know, the technician and the manager and then the owner. And like, it's just a phenomenal book. So if you haven't read it, this could be like massively valuable just to get this book and read it. So that's one thing. But I want to share with you about secret number 1 in employee systems. If you don't figure out this cycle right here that you see on the screen, you are stuck and you are not going to grow without severe pain and headache. Okay. And I start at the quit. So like most people would start at the new hire, and I actually built this and started at the new hire, but like it really starts when someone quits. Okay. So like, let's put yourself in this scenario of like, you've got 5 employees, right? And you've got enough work booked for 5 employees, because if you don't, then that's not good. And so you generally have enough work booked for your employees. And the first problem is someone quits, right? And then you scramble because you're like, oh my gosh, I've got all this work and I've got to hire somebody like right now because I've got this work and I've got to do it. And like, now I'm working and trying to cover, and like, it's crazy. So they hire somebody, right? Then it's the new hire. But guess what? They have to hire someone really quick. So they don't like, they take the first person that walks in the door, right? They're like, oh, you got a pulse? Yeah, you're good. Like, put on this shirt and let's go, right? And then they're just rushed into that process, and like, they don't spend time and like really pick the right person for the job. And then they hire them and they're like so busy that they give them minimal training, right? They're like, yeah, put the shirt on, like the bucket's over there, and yeah, do it. Like, let us know if you have any questions. And then the employee's standing there like, what? Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. They feel like they're in a, like, you've put them in a bad situation. And even if they want to do really well, like, they have poor performance because we've created this cycle where we didn't prepare them or set expectations properly. And we may not even have hired the right person. Even if we did give them good training, like if we didn't hire the right person, that's just as bad, right? Training the wrong person isn't going to help. So you end up in this bucket of poor performance. And then guess what? They quit, or you fire them because they're not doing well, or they feel like, hey, I can't do this job well, and this is like terrible, and I don't want to work here. And guess what? You're right back at the beginning again, and you hire somebody else. So if you don't figure out how to fix this, like, that's a major problem in your business. And I want you to be aware of that. Do we have any questions on Facebook? I don't know if there's questions that are out there yet, but stop me if we do.
Okay, we will, for sure.
Okay. All right. So for those of you who don't know my background, I was actually in the military straight out of college. I became a military officer, and they like pounded into my head about leadership and training. And so I'm going to teach you like what they taught us as officers, and really supposed to be like leaders of people, you know, what their process was. And it's really starting here with the skills training. So it's all about giving people the correct skills to do their job. So that's day one. Like, we're going to assume you've hired the right type of person to hire, and you hire that person. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But once you hire them, you've got to give them the skills to do their job. And then you've got to give them expectations. Like, what do you expect? I've given you the skills. Now here's what I expect from you. And then you have to give them feedback. Okay. So like, did they meet expectations? You've got to give them good feedback.
Daniel, sorry to jump in. One thing about that I think is really interesting that we found here at Jill's office is that our employees are actually hungry for that. Because it's funny, because you'd almost think like, oh, they don't want to like, you know, feel like they're in the military. We got these things, which obviously, you know, there's, I don't know the word I'm looking, there's good ways to give those expectations and the feedback where it doesn't feel like this intense thing. Mm-hmm. But what I find so interesting is that when we would do like surveys to our employees, they would be asking for more feedback. They'd be asking, I want to know what's expected of me. And the more we gave them, like, here's where we need you to be with different, you know, KPIs that we're tracking, the more they loved that. They actually wanted that. And that surprises me.
Well, some people want to just know what direction they're headed in. I mean, for me, when I do interviews and I ask people what they're looking for in a job, or what are some things that are important to them in the workplace, one of the things is feedback and communication. They want to be told when they're doing a good job, but also when they could be doing something differently, rather than getting an evaluation at the end of the year, realizing the whole year they were doing something wrong, you know. So constant feedback and frequently in small doses, I think, is better than
Right.
spacing them
All
out
at
so
once.
far.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's a great reminder, even for me, like I get busy and the last thing I do, like when somebody's doing well is like, I'm not worried about them because they're doing well. So I don't say like, hey, good job. So it's that giving them the expectations, then giving them the feedback, and then having consequences, right? Like if you don't meet our expectations, this is what's going to happen, and sticking to that. And then from that process, they'll grow. And guess what? When they grow, they're ready for new skills. And like you've built this like spiral that goes up where you're like growing your people and improving their performance and like moving them up your company, instead of like the downward spiral where you hire and then it just becomes, worse until they drop out.
Right.
So it's like a totally different thing.
Sorry. And one thing, this, one of our people here at Jill's office, they always give the example that, in high school, I was told, I have to get at least a C. So that's what I did. I got C's. But if I had been told, I need to get B's or I need to get A's, then I would have probably gone there. So again, making sure that you're setting the bar where you actually, really want them to be, because as soon as you set those expectations, they want it, but they're going to probably meet whatever you set it. So put it at a spot where that's where I actually really, really want you to be. And then people usually feel that if there's a bar set and there's consequences, especially with that, they're going to hit that.
Yeah. And especially if you can give them a game plan to hit it. Like it's tough if you give them expectations and they're like, well, I don't know how to do that. But if you're like, I know if you do these 5 things every day, like you're going to meet our expectations, then like you've given them the game plan to be successful. So this is like huge. If you are in the previous slide, if you're in this bucket, like spend some time, like it's worth spending 2 hours or 3 hours or even like a whole day, until you've got this figured out, of like thinking about how do I do each of these steps. So take a screenshot of this, think about how you can do each of those steps better. And like, you're not going to be perfect, but just start somewhere. Maybe start with just skills training, or maybe your guys are already trained. Like, let's start with expectations. So this can be really big. All right. So secret 2, understand how to make employees want to do their job better. All right. And you guys touched on this, like, as business owners, when employees don't do well, like we immediately think, oh my gosh, that person like they don't care, or they don't want to do a good job, or like, what are they thinking? Like, they're not even thinking, they're just here to show up and get a paycheck. Like, that's actually not true for like 99% of the cases. It's they actually want to do a good job. Like, no one goes to work and thinking like, starting a new job thinking like, I hope I'm terrible at this. Like, I wonder if I'll last 2 months, right? Like, they don't do that. They get a new job and they think like, man, I hope this is going to be awesome. And they want to like make their boss feel good. Like, there's nothing better than like the person that's above you at the company being like, hey, you're doing awesome. Like, that's what they want. So the key is like how to understand how to make them want to do their job better. They already really want it, but like we have to switch our mindset to be like, okay, they do want it. Now, how do I help them, do it better? So that's secret 2. And like, hint, unlike the last slide in the military where it's not punishment, like that guy's yelling in your face. So the military has a little bit different onboarding strategy. They're taking everyone that's willing to sign up and then they're eliminating. All right. Well, I'm not telling you to go hire like 1,000 people and then like yell at them until you find the right person. That's not punishment is not the best way to get people to want to do their job better. So remember, we want to have people do their job better. So how do we do that? We align incentives. All right. So both the owner and employee, we've just established they want the same outcome, right? Like the employee wants to do a good job. The owner wants them to do a good job. So we want the same outcome. So what's the problem, right? We've just got to align incentives. Oftentimes we assume that employees are motivated by the same things that the business owner is, or like that I am. And that's not really the case. There's a lot of statistics that say, and I'll share some of those with you at the end, but that basically say like, people in today's workforce, especially younger people or people making like less than $40,000 a year, they're not very motivated by compensation or money or like a bonus, like a paid bonus. But what is really cool is like giving them rewards that they care about. So like the incentives of your business should be tailored to what each staff member wants. Okay. Like, I have someone on my team that loves Taylor Swift, right? And like, it would mean so much to me and to her, like for me to be able to give them Taylor Swift tickets. Like that would be awesome. And like, that might cost $500, but that would be way more impactful to her and to like her perception of like our company than giving her $500. Okay. And so like, that's really important, is that we tailor incentives. So get to know your people, ask them what they want. Like, hey, what would be really cool if like we had a competition, you could earn this? Like, what would be that thing that you would want? And tailor it to them. Like, it's not that hard. Just ask, like, think of cool things and know your people. Like, they'll tell you what they, about themselves, and just use that to tailor the gifts. And then action should have clear positive and negative consequences, just like we talked about in the previous slide where we had that training loop. You've got to have consequences. So not only positive, but negative, and consequences that mean something to them. All right. So not only positive incentives that they want, but like negative consequences that, hurt a little bit. Like, man, that wasn't fun. I don't want to do that again. So aligning incentives is really, really big. And even corporate America, like there's whole roles around this. Like, I don't know if Nicole came from corporate America and HR, but like a lot of HR departments in corporate America, this is their whole role. And like, they have jobs to assign around like a incentive alignment and consulting around it. So like, they figured out that this is really big. And then the second thing is giving opportunities for growth. So help people achieve their dreams, and they'll want to help you achieve yours. Okay. Like, that's a really, really powerful thing. Like, I almost get goosebumps saying that, because like, what is it in your company that like your people like want? And it doesn't, like, we always think, oh, they want more pay. Like, they want to get paid more, but I can't pay them more. Or like, they want to like be the boss, and they're not going to be the boss. It's not true. Growth opportunities don't have to be a promotion. Like, their goals could be something like, I want to buy a house someday. I want to be able to have Fridays off so I can take my kid to baseball practice. I want to, work in a place that like makes me feel good. Like, they have way different dreams than you probably ever perceived. Like, maybe it's they want to get married, or maybe it's they want to take their first vacation. Like, there's an infinite possibility out there of like what their dreams are. And it's our job to help them earn that. Maybe it's they want to get out of debt, and like, helping them doesn't have to be paying them more, but hey, we're going to give you access to like education to help you get out of debt. Or we're going to like set up a plan of like, okay, here's what you make, and here's a budget to like get you to be able to have a down payment for a house. Like, how do you help them achieve their dreams, whether that's in your company or outside your company? Maybe it's to work for somebody else. Maybe there's like a dream job and they're going to college and they're not going to be with you forever. Well, guess what? They're going to leave no matter what you do. But like, how much better are they going to perform? And like, would they be willing to recommend people to you and like speak highly of your company if when they leave, they were like, they could say like, yeah, they helped me like achieve my dreams and they changed my life. Like, that is like really powerful. So it doesn't have to be a promotion, doesn't have to be getting paid more, but ask them like, this goes back to knowing like your people and what is it that they want to accomplish, and like, how do you help them get there? So that's
and Daniel, we're probably going to be talking more about this, and this is kind of I don't know, like a really weighted question, but one thing I'm thinking about as we're talking about this in particular, and I love this concept. I absolutely love this concept. How do you like, I don't know the right word for even, like, how do you make sure it's fair? Like, so say one of your employees is, and individualize it, because say their goal is, I want to save up for a house. Their goal is, I want Fridays off. Their goal is, I want to achieve this job. So how do you you just create almost an individual plan for each of them and helping them motivate or map out a plan, put this amount aside to a down payment. Let's set up an automatic account, or I don't know, like you just kind of individualize it for each employee.
Yeah. And like, I think if I'm right, Jill's office has like dream boards, right? And like,
we definitely do.
Yeah. See, so that's awesome. Like, you guys get this, and like every employee has their own dream board, and it's different for everybody. But I think to the extent like you have managers in your business, or maybe you only have 2 employees, like, and you're their manager, like managers need to be meeting with people regularly and like understand their dream and understand what that next step is to help them. Like, it doesn't have to be fair in the sense of like, hey, we're going to give you $1,000 towards your goal. It's more of like, I'm going to help you achieve your goal by like mentorship and understanding what your goal is and
showing you care and helping them map a plan to get there.
Right. And if there is like education opportunities, like maybe your company invests in that. Like, we're willing to invest $1,000 a year per employee in achieving something through higher education. Maybe that's in your job, maybe it's through financial security, like whatever it is. But yeah, it's really like a one-on-one thing. All right, so secret number 3, create a culture that attracts people that you want to hire. Okay, like this is really, really big. And this goes back to the hiring circle. Everything goes back to that. And like when you're in the bind and you go to hire someone, if you don't have people that want to work for your business already lined up, you're in that rut. Like you're going to hire somebody that isn't right for your business. So how do you attract people that you want to hire and have those people lined up? So attracting the right people, be a place that people want to work, right? Like that's number 1. And that's not that hard. Like people think that's really hard, or like my job isn't a sexy job. And we're going to talk about that and like how you can make a difference. But treating people like people and not a commodity reduces turnover, and staff start referring applicants to you. Okay, so simply being a place where you treat people like people is a big thing. Like there's frankly not a lot of businesses that do that. They see you as a means to get this job or process done, and they want it done like a machine, and they pay you, but it's not really, you're not a person. They haven't talked to you like, how's your day? What is your, how are your kids doing? Like treat people like they're your people, and they're your family. You spend a ton of time with them, or they invest a ton of time at your company. Like give them the decency of treating them like a family member. And this will serve your company really well. And have an incentive program. Like other ways to stand out are have an incentive program. Be flexible with work arrangement. Just be different. Like what is your company doing differently? Because guess what? If you're a restaurant owner, or you're a pressure washing business, or you're a call center, like any of those things, there's another one that they can go work at. And so how are you different than the other one so that they do not want to leave, right? Because they know if I leave Jill's office, there's not going to be a culture like this somewhere else. And I have a personal experience with this. Like when I left one consulting firm to go to another, they offered me a massive increase in pay to leave. And I had the most difficult time deciding. It was like the worst. Like I felt sick to my stomach. It took me 2 weeks to decide. Like I literally like felt physically ill. And it's only because I knew I was leaving a culture that I wasn't going to have again. And like I couldn't replace it. And that just sets people apart. And it doesn't have to be like crazy things like, oh, you can only work whenever you want to, or you can only like, it doesn't have to be off the top, but just have like a cool, like something that makes you different. Examples, the dream board, allowing people to work remotely if that's possible in your business, having a flexible work schedule. Maybe they work at home like 1 day a week. That could be huge for somebody. Having like a rewards program where they have rewards tailored to them. Like there's a million ideas and I can't go through all of them, but just think about like, how can I be different from the other businesses that might hire this person, and how can I stand out? And then what this does for you is it gives you an opportunity to have more applicants than you can hire. So one thing that our company did, for example, Automate, Motivate, or Service Moxie, what we did is we had a movie night. Like this is how simple it can be. We had a Netflix, and it was actually during the day, so it was during paid time. We watched a Netflix movie together. And we had actually sent like their favorite candy and like a bag of popcorn to their house ahead of time, because we're a remote office. And we all watched a movie together, and like these gift baskets showed up, and it cost us like almost nothing. Like Netflix was basically free. And like we spent a few dollars mailing these things, and people loved it. And like one of our employees posted a picture on their social media, and guess what? There was like 4 comments about people saying, I want to work for your company. Are they hiring? Well, guess what? Now we've got more applicants that we're not even hiring for. And like, it just is this snowball effect. When you create that culture, like people want to work for you, and their friends want to talk about it, and they want to tell their family. And it just, like, before you know it, you're going to have people asking, can I work for you? And you say, we're not hiring right now, but I would love to take your information. We're always looking for people like you. And then guess what? When that person quits, you're not like, oh my gosh, who can I get? I'm going to go to Craigslist and find somebody. It's like, no, I've got 5 people here that want to work for me, and I'm going to reach out to all of them, and I'm going to choose the one that fits best. All right. So like, that's how we change this. And it it's all things that kind of like, they're small, but they all make a really big difference and they add up over time. All right, anything that's out there or any questions? I need to slow down. I get really excited and I start talking
Oh,
fast.
we're just listening. We're just staring at you listening. I didn't even check.
No, I'm watching it. Yeah. We got people watching, but I think they're just taking it in. So
all right, well, take notes. I hope this is helpful for people. Okay, so people talk about like, my job isn't sexy. So like we serve a lot of home service businesses. Like it could be lawn care or window washing or pressure washing. Like it doesn't matter if you're like a porta potty business. Like look at these other businesses that aren't sexy, but like people line up to work here, right? And guess what? They do all of these things and they're different. Like Southwest, okay? Like that's a pretty cool job. Like you're a flight attendant, but guess what? They have people lined up to work there. Like it's almost impossible to get a job there. Why? Because they're different and they're cool. Like if you've ever been on a Southwest flight, they take humor in the whole safety thing and they onboard people differently. And their flight attendants aren't wearing like shirts and ties and it's all stuffy. And like they're wearing shorts and, collared shirts and it's just different. And like Chick-fil-A.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
One thing I was going to say that strikes me about this as well is not only does that make people want to work there, but it translates to the customers. And again, this goes across the board is if you have happy employees and they value your company and feel appreciated there and love the culture, that's going to translate into your product and your service. I know that's something, one of the reasons we love talking to you about this is because that's one of our huge main focuses at Jill's office is culture. Because arguably there's nothing sexy about an answering service, but
Right.
we try to make it, our turnover is so much lower than any other call center out there just because we do focus so much on culture, because we know if our receptionists are happy, they're going to treat the callers well. And that's our product. And we want them to stay. And again, so if you focus on your employees at the end of the day, it's helping in your bottom line as well, because you're going to provide a better service. Your employees are going to serve your customers better if they're happy.
Absolutely. That's 100% right. So like you take more examples here, like Chick-fil-A, In-N-Out Burger, they're both like fast food restaurants, right? No one grows up thinking like, I hope I work at Chick-fil-A or I hope I work at a fast food restaurant. But like people actually line up, to work here and they don't have a problem finding employees because they have a different culture. And you'll see like at Chick-fil-A, if you've ever been to one, it's like, what do they say? My pleasure, like after everything, right? It's like, oh, my pleasure. Oh yeah, let me get that for you. And it's like, whoa, like, is this like $100 meal? No, it's like a $7 fast food meal, but they've created a culture that is just different. And like people strive and like, they just like have this desire to be part of it. And same thing with In-N-Out Burger and like Publix and Whole Foods and Costco, like those are restaurants, those are like grocery stores, maybe not Costco so much, but like Publix and Whole Foods, like it's totally different. But like if you walk into a Whole Foods, like you see the people working there, like they've attracted the right people for them, right? Like I wouldn't do good at Whole Foods, but like they're good at finding the people that would do good at Whole Foods. And they have a totally different feel and experience about their business. And people that work at Whole Foods love it and they won't leave, even though they're making, not crazy good money, because they're part of a culture that fits with them and like is really powerful for them. So these are just examples of like non-sexy jobs, and there's a whole bunch more, but like think about it. Next time you're at a place and you're like, man, this is like over the top, like compared to other companies that I would compare them with, like what is it that they're doing differently? And oftentimes you're going to find that it's a culture, and it's not like they're not paying them more. They've just found a way to like engage their employees and have a cool culture that sets them apart. All right. So I know it's a lot to manage. Like this sounds like I just told you a million things to go do, right? And it only works if you're consistent, which is the other hard part. Like that's probably the most difficult thing. Like I talk to people all the time. I try to do this on an Excel sheet and like we just couldn't keep up with it when we got busy and like it's too hard and like I don't have time. And I get it. Like it is really hard to manage a business. But this only works if you're consistent, just like everything else, just like your sales process, just like your, Google ads, like it only works if you're consistent. And so there's kind of a catch, right? You don't have enough time. Running a business is the enemy of consistency. But what if I told you we had a tool to systemize all this? Would that be valuable? Of course it would. And you've probably seen, and we talked about at the beginning, we've got a tool called Automate Motivate. And it launched at the beginning of this year, and it was designed specifically for small businesses to try to help with all these things. And
I'm gonna jump in. I know you're gonna talk about this here, but
yeah,
I just want everyone to know we personally are using this. We're just getting it going, but we're so excited about it. We did a whole like training with Daniel about it. It's an amazing software. So anyway, we're excited for you guys to check this out because like we're introducing this ourselves and we're excited to see what it can do.
We're excited about it, and it is simple. You can set it up because that's probably one of the most daunting things I think for small business owners is taking on a whole new program or software to learn. It's easy and it's actually fun at the same time. So
that's awesome. Yeah, it is fun. Actually, rewarding your employees is like one of the most like rewarding personally things to do because like you see the look on their face and like making their day. It's just like it's so awesome as a business owner if you appreciate them. So yeah, the product is all about getting employees to be excited to be at work, motivating them with rewards that they want and they define, and then reducing turnover by having an awesome company culture. And we've talked about like how all these things kind of create this snowball effect and like can completely transform your business. And so those are just 3 of the bullets. You'll see a couple screenshots here from our product. But I would love to play, it's just I think it's 29 seconds, this short video from just a couple of our customers that are using it, and just to hear what they say. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
It's been an awesome way to push production without having to crack the whip, essentially. It's been self-motivated from the guys.
It's super easy for our techs to use. Whatever they're doing in the field, they're doing it on their phone. It's not a whole lot extra to pull up the app.
I love the gamification. I like that I can create competition within my team.
It does make it a little fun for the team.
It has really given us a lot of value, so it's almost, to me, it's priceless.
Yeah.
It's been
Sorry, let me skip past that. So like you hear that they say like the guy at the end, that's my favorite part. He's like, it's almost priceless because when we actually started this, we didn't know how to price it because there's nothing out there like this. Like you go and search and there is nothing out there like this, which was hard because we're like, are we crazy? Like this couldn't be the first time someone's thought of this. And maybe it's just not worth it or it's failed or, you know, we didn't know what to think. But for him to say it's priceless, I mean, really like meant a lot to us. And we take pride on providing value. So I'm going to go over some crazy facts here. Okay. And just like, let these sink into you. And this first one's actually a question. So 64% of millennials would rather have a job that pays $40,000 a year that they enjoy over a job that pays X per year that they think is boring. Any guesses out there on what this number might be? I mean, I almost fell out of my chair when I first heard this. Any guesses?
If you almost fell out of your chair, I'm going to say 100,000.
I was gonna say 80.
Boom, $100,000.
Okay, dang.
2 times. That is insane.
That is
I'll
insane.
say, I am not a millennial. I don't know if I would still trade a job for 100,000 over 40,000 just because I thought it was boring. But that's real. Like this is a real survey, and that is mind-boggling to me. But I'm just telling you guys, they are not motivated by the same things that you are. So this just proves that point. Okay, 88% of workers cite culture as a critical reason to stay or leave your company. That's 9 out of 10. Okay, 9 out of 10 people are saying culture is a critical, AKA the most important reason to stay or leave your company. I mean, is that not crazy? And they'll say like,
if you're not thinking about culture, like you're not in the game. I mean, because if 9 out of 10 employees, that's what they're looking for, especially the millennials and things, and you've got to have a plan for it.
Absolutely. And like, it's not, you might think that's different, right? Like you might think back, okay, what's the last 3 employees that I had that quit? And they'll say like, oh, well, I found a better job, or they'll have some reason, but I guarantee you they were avoiding conflict and didn't want to tell you, or maybe their boss sucked and they didn't want to tell their boss, hey, you suck, so I quit. So they just say something else. Like culture is a huge thing, and you are the boss and you are in charge of your company's culture. And they're not going to tell you this, but in an anonymous survey, 9 out of 10 are going to tell you that it's culture. So that's big. They want to work somewhere where they can do well and where they can feel like they're loved and that people care about them. So there you go. So what if you didn't have a single employee quit this season? Would that be super valuable to you? I think it would to us. And I think it probably would to most businesses. Okay, only 13% of employees feel engaged at work. Only 13%. That means, and what they defined engaged was committed to their job and likely to be making positive contributions. And the crazy part of this is 87% aren't. So 9 out of 10, those 9 out of 10 people that just would have quit your business because of culture aren't engaged, which means they're not making contributions to your business. 9 out of 10. If you have 10 employees, only one of them is contributing to your business.
That's sickening, actually.
How do you stay in business like that, right? Okay, so let's go on. There's some more of these. What if every year, again, all your teamwork members worked harder than they ever have before? This is possible if you guys start thinking about this. Would you guys watch football if they didn't keep score? Of course not, because it's a competition. Competition get people motivated. They get emotionally invested. They have fun competing. People like winning. No one's going to go out and watch the NFL if it's a bunch of practices and they didn't keep score. We watch sports because it's fun and we like winning. We like cheering and like we feel like we're involved. So it's, that's the same with your business. People don't want to go to work if they just, punch the clock every day. Like how do we make it fun? What if your employees celebrated as much when your company grew or improved, like celebrated as much as you did? Like, wouldn't that be awesome? Again, these are things we got to start working. What if staff bragged to their friends about how much they love working at your company? Like, this is what we're talking about, getting those applicants in. Of course, it would be valuable to your business. And did you know that there's multi-billion-dollar tech companies that have a secret and they're not telling you? I just, yesterday, my brother told me to watch this Netflix movie. I just realized the image doesn't actually have the title of the movie. So my bad on that. But the documentary, I think, is called The Social Dilemma. And did you? Yeah. And we had this slide in here before. I just didn't call it The Social Dilemma. But basically, there's rewards, and these companies know rewards and gamification is addicting, and it actually can change the way your brain functions. Like these smart, these companies that are worth $1 billion, like they have all these engineers that are some of the smartest people in the world, and they do research and they understand like how our body like physiologically works, and they can alter that based on competition and rewards and gamifying. So like, would that not be powerful if you could take that concept into your business? And like, we're not talking about making your employees robots, but like if they felt like they wanted to be at work because they were addicted to it, I mean, wow, that would be insane. All right, just a few more of these. And then I think you've got the point, right? Within the first 6 months, 86% of workers decide to stay or leave a company long-term or not. So again, you're talking about almost 90%. You're talking about 1 out of 10 people or 9 out of 10 people are saying whether or not they want to leave within the first 6 months. So if you've got employees that are there longer than 6 months, they've probably already made up their mind if they're looking for another job or they're going to stay with you. All right. So Automate Motivate does its best to make all of this simple. Of course, we can't do everything for you. Of course, it's still your job to make culture a thing in your business and to make it a priority, and you own the culture, just like your sales process, right? Like your website is powerful, your Google ads can be powerful, but it's up to you to sell and deliver the work. It's up to you to create the culture that you want in your company. We just have a tool that can help make it a lot easier and help you manage it in way less time. And for Jill's office, we have a special. It's normally, this is a screenshot from our website. It's normally $79 a month. And there's fees with setup and stuff. Today, you're going to pay, if you go to this link that I'm going to show on the next slide, you're not only going to get a free trial for 30 days. So you can try this for risk-free, but you're going to get it for $59 a month for every month after that. So you can have it forever for $59 a month, as long as you have less than 25 employees. And yeah, so that could save you a ton of money over time. And like I said, there's really no risk to trying this. It's,
right with us. Like I said, we're giving it a go. Let's have feedback about it. Say what's working. If you come up with cool ideas on how to incentivize, let us know. What do we have on there right now? Nicole, show me.
We have some of our own loot. Some of our own swag, like some of our shirts and some of the things that we've made with our logos, because we've actually learned our employees really love it. we're still thinking of some other things because we've already had some things in place, but it's never been automated and
organized in one
organized
place.
to the way that this system has it. So that is amazing because it's kind of just been everywhere, tracked on spreadsheets, just remembering to do things for performance, for attendance. We like to recognize people just for being kind and going above and beyond. We have different advancement levels just for completing certain things according
But
to
like
their own
movies,
goals.
massages. I mean,
Mhm.
we have like a season pass to like the state parks or like amusement park up here, all the way up to a cruise. You know, if you get a cruise, certain amount of points. So, lots of fun stuff. And I know we talked to you, Daniel, that a lot of times people like something that not like, oh, like here's a grocery gift card, but something that's actually to get some fun or something that you normally wouldn't like. I wouldn't
Mhm.
normally go get a massage, but if I can win a massage, awesome. You know,
Right.
things like that.
Yeah, and that's what makes it different. And because like people, let's say they win like a 400, not win, but they earn a $400 commission check or bonus in their pay. And then after taxes, like it just gets in their pay and it gets direct deposited and they don't see it. And like their whole paycheck is allocated towards like their family budget, right? But like, how much different would it feel if they took home a $400, 55-inch TV and like they've got this massive box in their car and they're like taking it home and they're opening it with their family and setting it up and everyone's excited. Like that's an entirely different feeling, although it cost you the same thing. So people are, again, they're not motivated by money. They're motivated by the feeling, by the experience. And frankly, maybe some people are motivated by money and that's totally fine. You can put like $100 gift card in there as a thing, but like for the most part, people aren't going to choose that. And if you ladies wouldn't mind putting this link in the Facebook chat, it's just
Nicole's
automate.
on it. Yeah.
Perfect. Motivate.com/AM-59. That will get you that pricing. And yeah, I mean, I'd love to stay here, talk, answer questions. I can stay as long as you guys want. Would love to answer any employee questions or culture questions. I'm super passionate about this, but if there aren't any questions, I'll leave this link up, but I want to say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to meet with you guys and talk about this. Yeah, it just like pumps me up and I love to talk about this. So again, thank you, Jill's office, and all the people that attended today. I can't see you out there, but I know you're there and I really appreciate you joining. And feel free to reach out to me. You can go to automatemotivate.com. You can quick chat. My email is actually daniel@sendgym.com. That's SENDJIM.com, Daniel@sendgym.com. If you have a personal question you don't want to ask on here, I'd be happy to answer it. I'm passionate about helping you guys. So here's the link. And if there's questions, let's chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel. That was
a
a
fun
great discussion.
I love, the topic for today is solving the biggest problem in your business. And I think we're both fans of Simon Sinek, but he wrote that book, Leaders. What was it called? I can't remember what it's called now, but off the top of my head. But sometimes when we have conversations about any type of issues in culture or in the workplace, we always go back to ourselves as leaders and what we're doing or what we could be doing better rather than putting it on employees all the time. Like you said, all the way from the beginning of hiring someone, hire them, for your culture, you train them in the right skill set, you provide that training. It's all kind of led by, your leaders. And really, and we talk about this when we get new clients as well. We have a lot of clients who just come on board, they love Jill's office and they sign up. And then sometimes we have people that have a lot of questions. They're not really sure. They don't think they can turn over things they can't delegate. And I like to say that they are the biggest obstacle in their business. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if the title says, the biggest problem, honestly, if you're looking at your employees, I think it's your leadership and how you're hiring and what you're providing for those employees when they come in, because you can't always point fingers at the employees. You have to give them the tools, the motivation, the inspiration, all of that stuff. They can't bring that to you, kind of something you need to provide. And so the system is awesome because it touches on so many different personalities, which for me, I'm all about winning. I'm a really competitive person. And so that's why I was really competitive in our in our onboarding call with Michelle.
I won the challenge that you
She
created for
won,
us,
but
and I had to snapshot and send it to her.
real.
So one part of Automate Motivate that's really cool is you can create like competitions. So between like, so maybe, you know, number of sales, or I don't know, whatever, or cleanest windows, or I don't know, most 5 stars, or whatever it may be, you can create different challenges that, and so then you get, if people are really competitive, you kind of get different personality types and what they're drawn to get them really engaged. And then I feel like it creates a greater team unity. Because one thing I love on there, it's like there's a way you can let everyone know through the app when someone achieved their goal. So it's like, oh, you just got the movie tickets. What are you going to go see? And again, it's just
I'm
creating
totally
this
that
culture.
person. Like, someone else got it. Now I want to get it.
Right. What do I have to do to win it? And
Right.
it just creates this social network of motivating each other, which again, just in turn, like builds that culture.
It really is gamifying it. Because if we read Fish, we used to do like, you know, books every month.
Right.
And Fish is a great book. I mean, it talks about is it 4 different, you know,
the fish market in Washington.
And one of the big things that you want to bring into your workplace is play. And play is huge. I mean, we're humans. We still,
that's how you
as
connect
an adult,
with people.
you still play. You just forget over time because you're stressed out and you focus on so many other things. You bring back the play aspect
through work, because you're earning the play through working. So,
right. And so yeah, it's huge.
Anyway, we obviously love it. We love this topic. We love what you guys have created. Just get something in place, whatever it is. Check out Automate Motivate, but even if you don't do that, do something to start, you know, really focusing on your culture and on what you can do to retain your employees.
And I would love to, if we could do a follow-up on
that would be fun
on this system, because we're just setting it up now. And so as soon as we can get it up and running and actually using it, I would love to come back and talk about like the effects and
I would love that
and
too.
how everybody likes it. Because I know that they'll like it. I just need to figure out all the different, you know, little things they have to add in there.
Yeah. If anybody watching this uses it, message us, because it'd be fun to have a discussion about it of just like what our experience is.
Yeah, a couple things too, if I have a few more minutes to share. So we've got a Facebook group. If you do join, there's a bunch of users in there that are, you know, have ideas and stuff. So you can check that out. Also, I didn't really talk about the functions of it. So I'm going to just briefly mention it. You can put all your training and tests in there, like quizzes. So if you're using something like Talent LMS, this can replace that. It has a basic time clock in there if you want to keep time. It also has like the whole premise of it is you set achievements that create value in your business. Like they were talking about generating a 5-star review, referring a new client, referring an employee, you know, whatever it is that creates value in your business, you can set how many points that's worth. They earn those points and then they can redeem them for personalized rewards. And then, yeah, there's a feature where you can create competitions if you want to focus something on your business, the most upsells or the most whatever it is. It's a really powerful tool. It's 100% configurable. We can make it work for you. And the cool thing is that it's less than a year old. So like we've got a massive development roadmap. We're going to be investing in this heavily. And as we add features, the price will probably go up. So jump on it now. We really would love to have you. And you can help us shape what it looks like. Like when we were on our onboarding call, Michelle and Nicole had some good ideas, and they're on our development roadmap now. So
cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Daniel.
Thank
That was
you.
really fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And thanks all for joining us. Have a great rest of the day.
See ya.
Talk to you guys later.